Hello to all the dreamers and risk takers out there. Wannabes, I see you too, and I got you. This is the Vereless N Free Podcast, where we help people take risks, overcome fears, and experience freedom. Hi, I'm Heather, the host of this podcast. I'm also a risk taker, adventurer, van lifer, world traveler, business owner, Enneagram 9 peacemaker, student in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, connector, daughter of Christ, and encourager to all the dreamers and wannabes out there. This is the Vereless N Free Podcast, and we have meaningful conversations with people who took risks in pursuit of their dreams to discover how they did it. Whether they've started a business, traveled solo, moved to a new state or country, chose an alternative lifestyle, or started a new hobby, these people have one thing in common. They decided their dreams were bigger than their fears. Hey, welcome to the Vereless N Free Podcast. I am so glad you're here. You're probably wondering, Vereless, is that a word? What does that even mean? Well, it's basically a play on words for fearless and free. A magazine clipping turned inspiration board, saying turned phrase I speak into myself and others on the daily. I have a van, and her name is Guinevere. I'm currently building her out so that I can travel the country full time. It only made sense to create an Instagram account for my van, Guinevere. My dad is super clever with words, so I read him a few different phrases from my inspiration board. And Vereless N Free was born. Guinevere, get it? Vereless N Free. Okay, it might not be that clever. You also might think it's kind of stupid. Or you might be asking yourself, who is this girl telling me about her van? Well, that's a good question. I'm Heather Bailey, and I grew up in North Carolina. Pretty normal upbringing, not too much adventure, family, great parents, still together, older brother, and there was just something that was there. I always had this curiosity about seeing the world. And in high school, I started traveling. I saved my babysitting money to go on a tour around France with my French teacher and some other students. And then later that same summer, the family I babysat for asked me to go with them to London as their au pair for 2 weeks. So at the age of 13 or 14, I spent almost an entire month in Europe and was hooked. Without my parents, just seeing the world. I made it my goal to travel somewhere, preferably out of the country, at least once a year. In college, I studied abroad in Perth, Western Australia. Honestly, I thought I was meant to be Aussie after 6 months living there. And when I came home, my family and friends had no idea what I was talking about when I tried to speak Aussie phrases in my terrible Australian accent. You might hear that on the podcast at times. After experiencing different parts of the world and having a summer internship in New York City, where I had to dress in business attire, I knew one thing. There's more to life than chasing the 9 to 5. And at all costs, I had to chase my dreams. And you know what? After 15 years of graduating from uni, which is what most people outside of America call college, uni, short for university, I can say I've been successful in chasing my dreams and living outside the norm. I've worked as a stewardess and first mate on a private yacht, been a concierge at a beachfront resort in Waikiki, experienced some of the world's most beautiful oceans and mountains, moved to several places, usually tropical, without knowing anyone, or maybe one or two people. I've started my own business. I bought a van, Guinevere, I told you about her earlier, to do a self-conversion so I can have more freedom, living van life and exploring the country. I'm sure I'm missing something in there, but I'm pretty sure you get the idea. I learned early on, when I was halfway across the world from my friends and family, sitting in my dorm in Australia, crying to my mom on the phone because I was all alone and didn't know a soul. Man, I was such a loser. I learned that life is what you make it. We either embrace the challenges and conquer our fears to make the most of the uncomfortable, or we live in our comfort zone, give up, miss out, and probably end up feeling sorry for ourselves. I could have flown home, given up after only 2.5 weeks in Australia, which is something I was looking forward to for a really long time, and gone back to North Carolina, gone back to school, and lived a normal life. Did I do that? No. I started thinking with the mindset, what's the worst that could happen? So I'd introduce myself to someone, and if they didn't like me, fine. I'd just go meet someone else. And it turns out when you go up to people and say, "Hi, I'm Heather," and extend your hand to shake theirs, it's pretty easy to make friends. I would recommend you using your name instead of Heather, but no judgment. Do whatever works for you. My time in Australia in 2007 made me who I am. It gave me confidence to explore on my own, to make new friends, and most of all, to take risks. I even jumped out of a plane and went bungee jumping on the same day. That's pretty risky. And my mom was terrified when I told her what I had done. But that's why I tell her after the fact, after I do those crazy things. Taking those risks helped me conquer fears. And it has led to this amazing feeling of freedom that I can chase my dreams. The Vereless N Free Podcast is my way to share the stories of others and myself who have taken risks. We'll be talking about our fears, failures, successes, and how taking a risk has helped us overcome those fears and how it's led to a certain kind of freedom. We'll be talking about travel. Of course, that's one of my biggest passions. We'll be talking about business, alternative lifestyles like van life, faith, family, and hobbies. The Vereless N Free Podcast is for the dreamers and wannabe risk takers who might need encouragement, a little nudge, practical tips and advice, and proof that while it can be scary, taking risks and chasing dreams can lead to so much freedom, even in the failures. New episodes will be dropping every other week. I love helping people to experience this life in amazing ways. If you're a dreamer or wannabe who's ready to push outside of your comfort zone and choose freedom over fear, the Vereless N Free Podcast is for you.